We got one more view here, and that's called the pre-wrath view, Mark. And you cover all of these views in your book in a very, very kind way. The first chapter is basically saying, I can understand why some people have gotten into these views. Then you take all the verses, basically the Old Testament and New Testament verses that talk about the rapture being pre-trib. But talk about this pre-wrath view. What in the world is that, and why do we think that's not what the Bible is saying?
Well, it's the newest, really, of these four views, this pre-wrath. And again, like I said earlier, all the views believe that we're exempt from God's wrath. But the pre-wrath view basically places the rapture about 3/4 of the way through the tribulation period. So you have pre-trib before, mid-trib at the middle, post-trib at the end, and this is kind of a 3/4 rapture view. And what they hold is that the wrath of God, or the day of the Lord, doesn't happen until that last, really 1/4 of that time period. They call that the day of the Lord. So basically they place the rapture between the 6th seal judgment and the 7th seal judgment there in Revelation chapter 6. And they'll say all this wrath is just going to be poured out then, and so that's when we'll be caught up to heaven. And again, one of the problems, as Ron had mentioned earlier with that, is it destroys imminency. Christ can't come at any moment of time now. He's got to wait until at least 3/4 of the time through the tribulation. But another point here I think that's very important is in 1 Thessalonians 5, 1-3, the Apostle Paul says that the day of the Lord, when it comes, people are going to be saying peace and safety. And the day of the Lord then is going to come. Well, those who believe in pre-wrath, they say that the day of the Lord starts between the 6th and 7th sealed judgments. Well, if you look at what's happened up to that point of time, people are hardly going to be saying peace and safety on the earth during that period of time. And so that's just one of the problems that I have with that view. But again, it goes back to the issue of, they would say all the seal judgments up to that point, the first 6 seals, are just the wrath of man and the wrath of Satan. The wrath of God is just going to be in that last point of time. But all the seal judgments are opened by the Lamb. And so all of those are the judgment of God, the wrath of God being poured out, even though it does increase, again, in its intensity.
Yeah.
So,
Give me a number of how many people will be dead on planet Earth because of the tribulation when we get to the pre-wrath point.
well, the 4th seal judgment, 1/4 of the people on the earth will die who are living during that time. It's a staggering number.
Yeah.
1/4 will die. Then later in the 6th trumpet judgment, 1/3 of the earth die. That's half the people on the earth who are dead. But at least by the time you get to the 6th seal, 1/4 of the people in the world are dead during that time. So again, it's hardly going to be when the day of the Lord comes, people are saying peace and safety. It's going to be devastation that's taking place on the earth.